there you can see at the Nokia Theater as the fans rush out to get to E3. The Nintendo presentation is over, and welcome back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live, connecting the world to one of the largest entertainment events in the entire world. We've already delivered more exclusives and more insider access than you will find anywhere else. I'm Jeff Keighley, and we are just getting started. Nintendo's official E3 showcase is over. The Wii U games have been announced. And joining me now to sort through the pixel dust is 22 Cans designer Peter Molyneux, Jason Schreier from Kotaku, and Adam Sessler. So guys, that was the Nintendo presentation. The Wii U has been revealed. Not as many surprises as I think some people might have been expecting in terms of new game announcements. Peter, let's go to you as a veteran designer. Were you inspired? Were you excited by what you saw?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I still...
A tempered excitement.
Yeah, a tempered excitement. I still, I start to understand what that screen does, and I like the fact when you bring it up and you can see a different perspective on the game. I like this asymmetric gameplay. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do one person setting puzzles and one person playing one game and not another. But I don't know, there was something that's slightly missing.
I agree. There wasn't those games that really captured your attention or excitement. Yeah. Jason, as a Nintendo fanboy, you're shaking your head no. Were you disappointed?
You know what? There's no Zelda anywhere, and that is a little bit of a shocker.
No Smash Brothers?
No Smash Brothers. I mean, well,
no new franchises?
Zelda I expected because we saw that demo last year. I don't know if you guys saw it. There was a Wii U demo of a Zelda game, and it looked fantastic. And I'm just surprised that we didn't see anything about it, anything about Zelda on the 3DS.
Okay.
Yeah, a little disappointing.
Well, Adam, what's your take on it?
I'm kind of stunned. I didn't know if they were necessarily going to wow me, but I didn't think that, A, they would close something as flaccid as a fireworks display inside of, it's just,
I was expecting that one more thing, and it sounds like there are some other games that they're going to be talking about here at E3. We actually have a special demonstration that's coming by that Nintendo just texted me that'll be first on our stage with a mystery developer. It's a special project.
Which is great,
but I mean, so stay tuned for that. It's interesting. Well, let's take a look at some of the fan reaction in terms of what people are talking about. The polls online, Nintendo's sentiment was just going absolutely crazy. I mean, these guys instantly overtook Microsoft and Sony in terms of excitement. So people are clearly excited about this platform, but it'll be interesting to see what those big games are. I mean, we all know software sells hardware, and obviously Nintendo Land they're putting a big emphasis on. But beyond that, any other games that stand out to you guys?
Paper Mario. Paper Mario is the big
for 3DS.
Announced, yeah, for 3DS.
Doesn't that say anything?
Yeah, we already have 3DSs, so.
Right, we'll have to see. But, obviously Pikmin was an announcement. There's the new Super Mario Brothers. So there are other games that have been announced, but no new franchises, as you mentioned, Peter.
No, I mean, I quite like the Miiverse. I quite like
interesting idea, right?
It's an interesting idea. I like the Nintendo Land. I don't know, it's a lot of questions there. Could you meet up with your friends there, take them through the gates? Is that a way of delightfully socializing people? As Reggie said at the start, there seemed to be an awful lot to talk about, and they didn't talk about an awful lot of it, and that was the problem.
Yes, well, I think a lot of people are wondering what other content they're going to have. So, did Nintendo convince you to buy a Wii U, Adam?
I mean, obviously, I feel a professional obligation to get this, but no, I thought the Mario game would. And I think what was just shocking is that it's kind of the safest way they could have gone with Mario, that in no way was defining what that system could do. In addition, then they showed the same type of Mario game on the 3DS, only to underscore kind of the rather uninspired way that they're approaching it. It's probably going to be a fine game, but does it suddenly say Wii U is essential? By no means.
Yeah, well, Jason, what's your take as a Nintendo fan?
Yeah, there was nothing that... I mean, to waste so much time showing us a game that is already out in Arkham City and to show us a little bit of Assassin's Creed, and those games might have great controls, but they've been on the market already. We've seen
Well, that's one thing I thought, third-party games, they showed Mass Effect, they showed Batman. I don't think Batman has any new content. It's really just sort of a new way to re-experience that game. And if you're wondering about some of those original games, we are going to have the first ever demos of Zombie U and Scribblenauts, which will be live on our stage. And Nintendo is also bringing by a mystery project that they're promising is going to be here in this hour after we interview Reggie. They're excited about it. I don't think it was something that was even seen in the briefing, so we'll have to see what they're bringing by, Peter. So it's not your new game, is it, Peter?
Could be.
Don't tease us like that, Peter. All right, touch the cubes with the control pad. Well, we'll have to see, but this obviously, a lot was at stake for Nintendo, a lot of conversation. But do the people on the ground share our assessment of Nintendo's performance? Well, only Justine knows for sure. Justine, what is the sentiment? What are people saying?
Jeff, Nintendo is absolutely going crazy right now, but specifically, let's check out our big three. So right here, Nintendo is over 83,000. Yep. That's more than triple from when we first started. Sony comes in second, and to Microsoft. And Katie, she actually just sent me a picture here of her at the Nintendo, and as you can see, she is really excited because she's an absolute huge Nintendo fan. Plus, Jeff is about to go one-on-one with Nintendo President and COO Reggie Fils-Aimé. But first, even though E3 is all about a good time, tensions can run high. Zachary Levi and David Coleman and Allison Hayslip of Nerd Machine hit up the Xbox party last night and ran into Cliffy B and the guys at Epic Games. What followed was a 5-on-5 Gears of War challenge that got intense.
You're going down.
Got it. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Good to go.
I'm getting destroyed. All right.
I'm gonna show you this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for humbling us thoroughly.
Hey, I don't care.
And still giving us an opportunity to feel good about ourselves.
We blew up the generator.
We felt good about ourselves, and we got our asses handed to us.
It's win.
Win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a win-win.
Win-win-win. Yeah.
Hey everybody, we are back here live at Spike Studio for E3 All Access Live, and we have a real Wii U on our set, and I got some breaking news. We're about to unveil a brand new Wii U game that you didn't hear about in the press conference. Nintendo is here setting it up under extreme secrecy. It's from a huge developer, and we're about to show that to you in just a few minutes. It's an exclusive right here on Spike and online on GameTrailers.com, so stay tuned for that. But recently, Katie got to catch up with Andrew Wilson, the head of EA Sports, after their press conference yesterday. They had some big news about the UFC and other things, so let's take a look at Katie's chat with Andrew Wilson.
All right, guys, thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you for joining. Let's just dive right in and talk Madden.
Okay.
Seeing some brand new features, specifically Infinity Engine, real-time physics, something that's never been done before. Let's dive in.
Did you see that? I mean, did you see physics in Madden? I mean, if there's a franchise that could use physics, it's Madden. Every single impact is different. Every single impact is alive. No longer do you lose control of the player as they go into impact. Now you drive right the way through, so it completely changes the game. It's a team that's bold, it's a team that's ambitious, and they've done some amazing stuff. I think probably the most amazing Madden in the history of the franchise.
And I love the specific examples that we saw up on the screen. If his arm is twisted, he's going to move in a different way. You can actually break out of a tackle now instead of knowing that you're going to get tackled.
Well, this is football, right? I mean, football doesn't end. You don't lose control as you go into the tackle. You fight for every inch. You fight for every yard. That's what Madden 13 is about with the Infinity Engine.
You dived into connected careers. I want to know, for a longtime fan, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, we've got a lot of fans that play Madden offline. We've got a lot of fans that play Madden online. Now we bring it all together. I mean, you never just play one game of football. Football is about a career. We had Michael Irvin on stage. He talks about making it to the Hall of Fame. I mean, this is a big thing, a career in football. So you do that in Madden now. You start as a rookie, you work your way through, but then you take it social, and that's the big kicker.
Moving right into social, a big movement into online evolution of social with both FIFA and Madden. Can you dive in for me?
Well, I mean, we're a universe of Twitterers and Facebookers right now, right? So this is what the universe is about. This is what gamers are doing. The thought that we could be a video game company making games in this modern era that didn't take part of that didn't account for the fact that this is how we communicate with each other, well, that'd be absurd. So that's what we've done. We've got to a point where your game world, your virtual world is as important as the real world, and through social media, Twitter, Facebook, our own website, we blend those two things together. So we're creating this nature that there is now no divide between what you do in the virtual world and what happens in the real world.
I personally love seeing the tweets of the real-time analysis on Madden. That was sick.
It's pretty cool. I mean, we are fulfilling a fantasy. I mean, I'm never going to make it to the Hall of Fame. Hell, I'm like 155 soaking wet. I can't even play football. But in Madden, you know, not only can I play, but I can live the story, the journey, day in, day out, not just on the football pitch.
Last question for you. A lot of hype today. Dana White showed up. You're going to have a UFC game coming out. When do we see it?
Well, as you can imagine, we are super pumped. I'm a huge fan. I've been watching this stuff since '93. Dana White and the whole team at the UFC have done amazing things. So we can't tell you just yet what we're doing next, but let me tell you, you're going to hear some amazing stuff.
Super good stuff. Guys, throwing it back to you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And right off stage, the big man has arrived. Reggie, welcome to All Access. Thanks for the shout out for Spike TV.
Absolutely, giving you some love.
Thank you. Well, it's been great to partner with you guys on the All Access presentation. And now we have some amazing Nintendo content coming up here on our stage. We've got Zombie U, we've got Scribblenauts, and there's a new game we're about to show off, something special that wasn't in the press conference.
You guys, you know, we love to give you something special, something that was not in the press conference. It's one of the games, as we played in the Treehouse, that really is becoming a big favorite. It still has a working title, but we think you guys are going to really enjoy it.
All right, can you tell us any more about it? Or?
Well, sure, a couple
it's
of
from
things.
a well-known developer, right?
Platinum Games is the developer. We're publishing the title. Right now it's called Project P100.
Okay.
It's great. You've got to play it.
All right, well,
I want to hear from you.
We're honored that we're going to be unveiling that in just a few minutes, so we'll get to that. But first of all, let's talk about your presentation. You guys obviously had a lot at stake to reveal the Wii U games. In terms of online sentiment, this is our E3 leaderboard. As you can see, Nintendo eclipsed Sony and Microsoft in terms of online social buzz. You guys just shot right up there.
You make it seem like it's a surprise.
Well, you never know how people are going to do, what announcements people are going to have. How do you feel coming out of the press conference?
You know, we feel good. Look, for us, the thing that we recognize is that we have so much news, so much information that we really needed to start our E3 activity back on Sunday. When we started sharing some information about the hardware, now we've done our press conference. There's more information running right now online. Right. So for us, there's just so much information that we need to convey, and we're pleased to see the reaction so far.
Now, that's a reaction, which is the number of comments, not necessarily all, doesn't.
It's all
take
positive.
Into account
Come on,
positive
Jeff,
or negative,
it's all
Reggie.
positive.
But a lot of the hardcores on Twitter and stuff were, they were expecting, I think, some bigger announcements in terms of surprises. I mean, this Platinum Games project sounds like something amazing that a lot of other people will probably put in their press conference, I guess. So how do you feel about, it's a tough balance, right, between sort of the casual and the more core audience. How do you think you did?
We think we did great. Look, for us, what we wanted to show was a breadth and a range. And clearly, we wanted to make sure that people understood Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land is the Wii Sports for the Wii U hardware. And so understanding it, playing it, we revealed that we've got 5 attractions on stage in our booth. There's 7 more to announce. So that game is big, it's rich. It's going to be available right on launch day. So we're very excited about that title. Clearly, that's going to set up the proposition of asymmetric gameplay. It's going to set up the proposition of the Miiverse. It was important for us to really show what we're doing in the dance and fitness categories with Sing. That's also a working title, but also with Wii Fit U. And it was important for us to show some more core titles. In the video, we showed Mass Effect, which I did see John Riccitiello very, very happy when we showed that right in the front row. But also, it's important for us to show games like Zombie U. So wide range of titles, very impactful titles, so we feel good. But in the end, what we know, Jeff, is people have to play it. People need to see it, get their hands on the controller, and we're convinced that once they have their hands on the controller and see this integrated second screen experience, it's going to be a wow.
Now, there's, I think, some concern amongst fans that, you know, Batman is the same game that was released last year.
It's not the same
Well, the same content, at least, a different way to experience it.
It's not the same content.
There's different content in there?
There's additional content. You know, the team from WB showed there's different content. There's a different way to play the game. Yes, it's still set up in Arkham City. It still has some of the same characters, but there are additional functionalities in the suits. There's additional functionalities with the way the Wii U.
You think enough for
gamepad.
fans to replay these games like a Mass Effect or a Batman?
Absolutely.
Okay,
And,
I mean, that's a lot of money to spend $60 to replay a game.
Well, you know what? From our perspective, what we want to show is that for the games that third party are bringing, that absolutely it brings a new level of the experience, leveraging the gamepad. And, you know, in the end, the players need to see for themselves. But I got to tell you, I play a lot of games. I will be buying Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. It has enough to keep me interested.
You don't get it for free? Martin Tremblay doesn't send it to you, Reggie?
You know, I have to show him some love, too, and buy it myself. Come on.
Now, the fans, I think we're hoping maybe another Smash Brothers or something else announced. What do you have for sort of, you know, this is all launch stuff that you're showing basically right now and beyond that?
What we're showing is everything that's going to be out either on launch day or through what we're calling the launch window. And so, you know, that's our focus. We've already said that there's a Smash Brothers in the works. We'll show that at the right time. There's going to be a lot more great Nintendo first-party content. What we want to focus on is what's going to be available in that launch window, including the working title that you're going to see.
This will be in the launch window?
It's going to be in the launch window.
All right, Reggie. Well, I guess we'll leave it there for now.
We don't even get to talk about 3DS.
3DS,
here we go.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. That is exactly right.
Second, you did have to yell at me. I didn't make undead Reggie angry and eat my brains out, so we're all good.
That's true. That's true.
All right, Reggie. Well, I think there's still lots of questions the fans have, but I know you're trying to share more information about Wii U, and this is a big bet for Nintendo, so we look forward to learning more and seeing the games, which I guess is what we will really have to judge.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Reggie. Good seeing you as always. When we come back, Daniel Kaiser will be taking a few Wii U games for an early test drive. Plus, we'll be joined by race car driver Danica Patrick and Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot. We'll bring you another exclusive look at Call of Duty Black Ops 2. We'll be right back here on Spike. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are in the belly of the beast here, bringing you over 17 hours of live coverage and over 50 game exclusives. I'm Jeff Keighley, and now I'd like to welcome to our studio the CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, right off the Nintendo stage, you and Reggie. Yves, you guys have had an amazing E3, Splinter Cell and Xbox. You had your own press conference, Assassin's Creed, now a bunch of Wii U games. Let's start, though, with a game that was a complete surprise yesterday, Watch Dogs, that you announced from your developers up in Montreal. So first question for you, is that a game that, what system were they playing that game on?
Oh, it was a PC.
The high-end PC. Okay, so is that game going to come to Xbox and PlayStation 3, or it's beyond that?
Yeah, the game is going to come on PS3, 360, PC, and
wow.
We'll see.
Because people were very excited about what you guys were doing there with that game. Tell me, is that going to be a big new intellectual property for you? Do you see that as like Assassin's Creed you launched the last generation with? Do you feel like this is sort of your next big intellectual property?
Yes, the goal is really to create a new environment, a new characters, new heroes, and we are very much after this game because it's going to also be very different from what the games we've done in the past. More social, more open.
Looks like at the end you were teasing, obviously, sort of an online. Is that a co-op element or a massively multiplayer element, or what are you trying to sort of describe with that?
I can't say much on this. You have to ask the team; they will tell you more.
But you know it all. All right. Well, it's a bold vision, obviously, for what you're doing with that game. Let's talk about Wii U because. You are, I think, one of the few third parties that has a very aggressive slate for Wii U, and I know Ubisoft prides itself on being sort of first and best at a lot of these new platforms. The fans saw the press conference. Why are you so bullish on Wii U when it seems like other third parties are a little more skittish?
The gamepad. The gamepad is so innovative. It's really giving new ways to play, and our creators are crazy about it. They are creating all sorts of new ways to play and to play asymmetric as well with other people. So all those new features are really bringing good fun. So that's what we love.
Now, this system is coming out this year, and obviously there's lots of talk about what the next generation will look like. How are you looking at, next gen? I mean, are you expecting it to start next year, 2014? What's your expectation?
Well, what I know is that when when the first one moves, the others follow very quickly. So we'll see. But
do you feel like Nintendo? Does it feel like to you it's a step beyond PS3 and Xbox 360, or a lot of the games seem to be ports, at least that they're showing right now? Batman, Mass Effect. You guys are doing some of that as well, I'm sure.
That's why I think the controller is what makes it stand out, like they did with the Wiimote last time. And the fact that you can have a screen and a touch screen plus a controller plus also the Wiimote, all those things together can really bring something new. And so for that, I consider it's a next gen.
Awesome. All right. Well, Yves, it's great seeing you as always. Congratulations on what's a really phenomenal lineup. When we come back, Spike's E3 All Access will continue. We'll have more Wii U game demos. Zombie U will be live right here on our stage, the first demo anywhere, plus that new Platinum's game project and the new Scribblenauts. Hurry right back, exclusively on Spike.
Live, where we are connecting thousands of gamers from the world's industry to the largest event ever. I'm Justine Zarek, along with Daniel Kaiser. As you can expect, following another round of Jeff Keighley versus Reggie Fils-Aimé, everyone is talking Nintendo. Specifically, let's check out our spectator mode to see what the chatter is around downtown LA.
Yes, obviously, like from that interview we just talked about, Jeff had a chance to grill Reggie about the Wii U, and you see that Water Bill, hope you paid your water bill, is talking about a retweet from Jeff Keighley. He says, "Undead Reggie, let's get it trending, people. GTE3 is the hashtag." And guess what? It's getting a lot of traction. That picture was amazing.
Well, let's work on that one. Also, a lot of people really want a date and price.
Yeah.
This Wii U.
Yeah, I think a lot of people came into the press conference hoping that Nintendo would drop the information everyone's been waiting for. They didn't. But we did see some great games. Pikmin, I thought, was awesome. There's a lot of traction for it. And as we've seen, lots of hype for Nintendo.
Zombie U.
Yep.
I think it looks fantastic.
It really does.
I'm pretty excited for that. Now let's head over to Katie, who has an interview with Chris Kohler.
All right, thank you so much, guys. The Nintendo presser has just completed, and I am here with Chris Kohler, editor at Wired. You got to talk to me. Did the Wii U live up to expectations?
I think if you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably coming out of this a little bit disappointed. I mean, I want games, not games like Arkham City like I played last year.
It's already been out.
Right, it's been out for a while. I want new games. Now, they did show Assassin's Creed 3 is going to be on the Wii U. That's excellent. But, I mean, really, as a hardcore gamer, you're probably looking for more than Nintendo showed at this press conference today.
Well, let's talk about the casual gamer, because a new Super Mario game and also a new Zombie U game. Is that excitement?
I don't want to say that I'm not excited about new Super Mario Bros. U. I think it's going to be really cool. I love the assist block thing where the player can take the gamepad and draw blocks on the screen. I think that's going to be really hot. I think the rest of the stuff they showed was really more aimed at the casual mom gamer, your Wii Fits and your Just Dances and things like that, which big part of Nintendo's business. But, this is E3. I mean, you've got to show the big hardcore games for hardcore gamers.
I don't know about you, but that Wii Fit presentation, I yawned and burned more calories. I was a little disappointed.
I feel like maybe the Wii Fit fad is kind of over. I mean, again, I was looking for something more new. I still think they're going to sell millions of copies of it, and hopefully I can use it too, but yeah.
Very quickly, moving into social with the Miiverse, do you think this is a good move?
Absolutely a great move. I mean, again, if you look at new Super Mario Brothers U, what they showed, your friends can write comments on different levels, and that gets integrated into your game. It's very interesting. Nobody, 360, PlayStation 3, they're not doing that. That could be a cool differentiating thing for the Wii U.
Absolutely. Chris, thank you so much. Guys, sending it back up to you.
All right, thank you very much, Katie. Nintendo has officially introduced the Wii U, as we know, to the world, so it's about time to see what it can do. And now we're getting into our Wii U demos, and joining me for a demo is Mr. Inaba-san from Platinum Games, Scott Ritchie from Nintendo, and over there we got JC from the Treehouse, my good buddy. Hey. JC, why don't you tell us about this new project?
Sure. This game is called Project P100. It's a game developed by Platinum Games, and it's going to be published by Nintendo. The director is Hideki Kamiya, and one of the producers is Atsushi Inaba. Now, they haven't worked together for 3 years, and if those names sound familiar, it's because they were partly responsible for Okami. Now, to give you a quick overview of what the game is, Huge alien forces are attacking Earth. The heroes of Earth are unable to stop these forces by themselves. They have to combine together and use their group abilities and group attacks to repel the aliens and save the world. We're really honored to actually have Mr. Inabe-san and, of course, Scott as translator here. And with that, toss it back to you guys. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thanks, JC, and you're going to go hands-on right here and show us how you play this game. Well, Mr. Inabe, it's great to have you back for a second day. Yesterday was Metal Gear, today is Project P100. So tell me a bit about this style of gameplay. It reminds me a little bit of Pikmin. Was Pikmin an inspiration for this game?
ピクミンを見てインスピレーションを受けたんでしょうか。ピクミンとは全く違うゲームです。このゲームはたくさんのヒーローたちが集まってそのスーパーパワーを発揮するっていう個性豊かなヒーローたちが集団でものすごいアクションを繰り広げるというゲームなのでパッと見ピクミンに似てるような印象を受けるかもしれませんけれどもゲームとしては全く違うものです。
This game is completely different from Pikmin. It may seem similar at first blush, but it's actually focused more on group actions and abilities rather than individual actions performed in a crowd, as you might think of in the case of Pikmin.
Interesting. All right, so tell us, as you're playing through this game, you have this group, you select a group of heroes. Do you build the heroes in the game? Or I apologize, this is the first time I've seen it. Do you build the heroes or do you get them in the game? Or how does it actually work? How do you put together your team?
どういうふうにヒーローとジョインするでしょうか。
最初にヒーローたちが集団でいましてでその街の中にいる市民たちを助けながら自分たちの仲間が増えていく、途中でヒーローとも会うんですけれども増えれば増えるほど自分が発揮できるアクションパワーというのは強くなっていくそういうシステムになっています。
As you go through the game, you will be able to rescue both civilians and find new heroes to join your group. The greater number of heroes you have, the more different kinds of abilities you can use.
いろんな例えばパンチの形に全員でなったり剣の形になったりということですごく多彩な攻撃が集団で繰り広げるその見た目が面白いというゲームですね。
And you'll see lots of really different and interesting shapes that they can take for the punching and the sword action that they use depending on the number of heroes that you have in your party.
最初に紹介がありましたけど作ってるのは神谷なんでもうベヨネッタでもう評判をすごく高く受けてますけれども彼が作ってるのでアクションの部分に関してはもう最高に気持ちいい爽快なものができるというふうに思ってもらって結構です。
And as JC mentioned, the director on this game is Hideki Kamiya, who you may know from Bayonetta, which was highly regarded for its action sequences. And I think that he's really bringing the same action feel to this game as well.
Well, taking down some big monsters there, or big robots at least. So tell me a bit about how you're using the Wii U gamepad. I see JC's basically just looking at the screen and playing it in some ways, but then he's looking down once in a while. How do you use the gamepad?
ゲームパッドはどういうふうに使いますか。
Wii のゲームパッドはもういくつかの遊びで使う予定してまして。例えばトンネルのような場所に入った時にその視点が Wii U のゲームパッドに変わったりといったような遊びを予定しています。
There are lots of different ways we'll be using the gamepad for this game. For example, when you enter a tunnel or another covered area, you will look down at the screen on the gamepad to see the action inside the building.
あとはサインを書いてそのフォーメーションを変えるそのパワーを変えることができるんですけれどもそのサインをタッチパッドで書くことが今はできます。
Also, you'll be using the touchpad on the gamepad to create symbols that represent the actions you're going to be taking in the game, like a circle or a line or a square.
Interesting. Well, it looks fascinating. Now, is this game? Reggie mentioned it's going to actually be coming out near the launch of the Wii U.
これは Wii U 発売の時に伺ってますか。
僕の口から発売のタイミングは言えないんですけれども、できるだけ早く出せるように頑張って開発はしたいと思います。
I'm afraid we're not quite ready to announce the release date yet, but we're certainly working as hard as we can to get it to you as soon as possible.
とにかく開発していることを今までずっと秘密だったんで、今日ようやくプラチナゲームズが作っている神谷が作っているってことをアナウンスできたのはすごく大きな喜びです。
We're just really happy to be able to announce this game for the first time right here as a worldwide exclusive. We've been working so hard to bring it to you all this time.
Well, thank you very much. We love the Platinum Games exclusives. It's always great to hear from you guys. I'm very curious to go hands-on and play this a little bit more. It's Project P100 from the folks at Platinum Games and Nintendo. Thanks you very much, guys. Thanks, JC, for driving. When we come back, we'll be bringing you even more of the Wii U catalog, as well as interviews with Peter Moore from EA and race car driver Danica Patrick. See you in a few minutes when Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live continues. Everybody, welcome back to E3 All Access Live. I'm Jeff Keighley, coming to you from our E3 All Access studio here at LA Live, and it's brought to you by the revolutionary Samsung Galaxy Note, available from AT&T. Now, right now, I'm joined By a man who was just on the Nintendo stage, Jeremiah from Fifth Cell. You guys announced a brand new Scribblenauts for Wii U.
Yep.
And we've got a live demo to show people what this actually looks like, to actually create objects now in this game, right?
So the first one was write anything. The second one was add adjectives to it. And the third one is now create anything.
All right, well, let's get right to it. We got Brittany over there, right, who's going to do a little live demo for us of Scribblenauts Wii U. So tell us a bit about the experience of playing this game. You're known for having an unlimited number of objects. It looks like all the art is definitely HD.
Yeah, now there's an
right?
HD version. Yeah, so you can actually zoom in, zoom out. And so one of the things we wanted to do is instead of having the sandbox and the levels kind of together, now we kind of have everything together completely. So there wasn't a separation between the sandbox and the levels. So you can walk around, kind of do whatever you want, or you can actually help people that need help. But the biggest thing, as everybody wants to see, is the creation mode. So we'll go into that first. So it's really, really easy. On the Wii U, you can just tap a button, and she'll go instantly into making your own objects.
Create an object.
Create anything she wants.
Okay.
So we're gonna try a toaster. Toasters are fun, right?
That's simple versus the ones you've drawn there, where you got the umbrella, the whole thing. So type in toaster.
Yeah, we're gonna start simple.
Start simple. All right. So you type in toaster and then you draw.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So first thing, we should make it bigger, right? Because Maxwell needs to. I think we're gonna make Maxwell ride on it. I think that's the first thing we want to do. So let's add a saddle to it. Right? So what's really cool is you can take any object and kind of smash them with other objects and kind of do all kind of fun things like that. So she's put a saddle on it. That's pretty simple. So now that it has a saddle, we have some moves. So we should go to scripting. We can add some wheels. And the best kind of wheels, as everybody knows.
God, look at this thing. It's like it's its own engine.
Is skull wheels. So of course, skull wheels. So let's go with skull wheels. So we're gonna go with that. Types in skull. 2 wheels. You can add more than 2, but we'll just go 2 for now.
Right.
And you can actually change the speed of it, change the general health, everything. So just save out really quick. You can see it. She's gonna actually change the speed.
Are you gonna be able to share these objects online with friends?
Yeah. And so now there's skull wheels on it. And so the one more thing we're gonna do is we need to have this thing shoot something. So we're gonna go back, and she's gonna call it Toasty.
Right.
Because you can actually name your objects and then pull them out. So they'll go into your lexicon of the game. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add weapons. So we're going to weaponize this toaster that you ride on.
Yep.
And of course, not with bullets, but with trout, because it's Scribblenauts, and that's what you're supposed to do.
All right. I don't know how you guys come up with all these crazy items and objects. So you create these objects, put a trout. You're going to shoot some trout out the front.
And then you can just save it.
And then we're going to use it in the game here, right?
Yeah, and they just drop it into the game. It's that simple. And what's cool is, like you said, is that when she finishes this, puts it online, I can download it the same way and just type in Toasty, and it'll work for me. So.
Wow. Oh, so really? So anyone that creates an object, if it's you claim your own name for it basically, and then this can all share online.
Yep.
Through me, I guess through Miiverse Online.
Yes. That's
wow.
Correct. She types Toasty. Now she made her Toasty.
All right. So you used to have to reserve a gamer tag. Now you got to reserve a Scribblenauts item name, right?
Yeah. So what's cool is, write it one more time. So the one other thing with Toasty is we didn't actually make it rideable to start with. And so in the other games, you had to add adjectives on the fly. Now, or before, you needed to write the object with the adjectives. Now you can add adjectives on the fly to any object you want. So we're going to write rideable. And now it is absolutely rideable. So Maxwell should get on it.
I mean, it's amazing the creation of what you guys
can do. And now
she
just killed a hippie on her toaster with skulls.
You did it, Jeremiah. That's amazing. All right, so this game will be coming out near launch for the Wii U?
Yeah, launch window. Yeah.
Launch window, all right, for Wii U. Brand new Scribblenauts. Cool, you've got online functionality there. And do you find, the gamepad obviously adds some cool ability, more creation.
The gamepad's perfect for this, right? I mean, it makes absolute sense. And what's really, really cool is because the other Scribblenauts were all handheld, even on iOS and DS, with this one now, like, everybody can kind of see what's going on, and they can kind of help and talk. And we're actually going to include a multiplayer mode into this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
head-to-head Scribblenauts?
Not head-to-head, more cooperative, more kind of having fun.
Build an object together.
Yes, and the last thing also is we're going to be talking about Maxwell's backstory. So you're actually going to learn why he has the abilities that he does and why he goes after Star 8s and all that fun stuff.
Any voice in this, or it's all text?
There actually is voice.
Voice? Maxwell have a voice?
No, actually Jennifer Hale's doing the voice.
Of course Jennifer Hale's doing the voice.
Yeah.
All right, well, we look for it. So narrated Scribblenauts. Little did we know. All right, Jeremiah, thanks for coming by for the first look. It was great to see you on the press conference. Daniel is now over in the lounge, ready to dive into the Elder Scrolls Online. You've heard about it. Now we're going to show you the first ever gameplay footage. Another Spike exclusive. Daniel, take it away.
That's right, Jeff. Elder Scrolls Online has been in development for over 5 years. You didn't even know it. You're too busy playing Oblivion and Skyrim, and calling it one of the most anticipated games of E3 2012 is certainly an understatement. Here to join me for an exclusive demo of the game is Paul Sage, game director. Thanks for joining us, Paul, and we're going to dive right into gameplay because we're so excited to see this. Tell us about the project.
So basically, the Elder Scrolls Online has been a franchise people have been familiar with for 20 years. And now you get to play it online. You get to play it with your friends. You get to play it with strangers. From the ground up, we've made it just so it's incredibly accessible, right? So you get in. We want to make sure that you can group very easily with people. So it's going to be one of the most accessible as far as socially. We have a lot of features planned. They're going to make it so you get together with your friends. Maybe you see them in the game, or maybe you see them offline and you say, hey, I want to go play Elder Scrolls Online. So that's going to be one of the big hallmarks. So here you'll see Daggerfall, which is something you haven't actually seen in 20 years, right? So this is, it's got a very rich, deep lore. And this is, as you can see the art style. So the art style is this, it's incredible. It spans all the cultures.
Yeah, I mean, it's so big. I mean, obviously you had a lot of decisions to make in terms of the art style. How are we going to represent this in MMO form? The locations, places that you've talked about already, like Skyrim and Daggerfall and things like that. Where are we going to be able to go, and how are we going to be able to explore as well?
So you will be able to start off in any one of 3 factions. So we have factions set up for the players. You can start off in the Northeast, where you might be familiar with Morrowind. You can start off in the Daggerfall Covenant, which is in the northwest of Tamriel, or you can start off in the south. You can play a faction that's the All-Merry Dominion that was mentioned in Skyrim, and they're kind of bent on taking over the continent.
Right. So why was this the right time, Paul, to launch an Elder Scrolls MMO? Obviously, it's a very big space. It's a very competitive space. You have a great IP, but a lot of gamers, when it was first announced, they said, hey, I love my Elder Scrolls. It's a single-player experience. That's what's different. Why is this the right time for an MMO?
I think it's just a matter of, it's just got to be a great game. It's got to be a great RPG. But there were a lot of people, myself included, who are saying, I want to play this online. I want to play it with a bunch of other people. When you take things to the next level, you get other people in, you can see like the world actually changes, not just because of the changes that the development team makes, but other players bring to it. So it's really dynamic feeling. It's a great game.
Okay, and talk a little bit about the gameplay mechanics. Obviously, people kind of go into MMOs knowing what to expect, but we've seen recent titles like SWTOR and upcoming Guild Wars 2. They're looking to mix things up. What can we expect on the gameplay front that's going to make this an innovative player?
So one of the things that we've really worked hard to do was make sure that we take away a lot of the interface from the game and have you concentrate and look into the world. And so the reason we built it that way is so combat is very real-time feeling. So it feels like it's reactive, it's active. As a player, you're blocking, you're using your health, stamina, and magicka stats to really affect combat. And so when players team up, they're not just teaming up and pressing buttons over again, but they're really reacting to what's going on in the world.
Obviously, a very story-driven world here we're talking about with Elder Scrolls. I mean, the amount of depth that you have to work with is phenomenal. How are you distilling all that down to an accessible experience as well?
Well, one of the things that's really great about it is the fact that you get to go in and you get to experience the quests the way you want to experience them. So you don't have to go on to a quest path. You can wander around the world. We'll actually have quests that come to you. So you'll see an NPC run over the hill. They'll grant you the quest. So you explore basically just how you want to explore. You play the game the way you want to play the game, essentially. And you're not on rails at all. It's a great open exploration.
In development for 5 years, that's a long time, and in that time, the MMO landscape has changed quite a bit. Have there been things that have influenced design throughout the process to kind of make it more innovative as we're getting closer to launch?
Absolutely. So one of the things that's really telling is that when we looked at how we wanted to explore the world originally, it was more of a directed vector through the world. And we said, that's not what Elder Scrolls is about. So we added elements like the compass back in from the single-player games that everybody knows. And the compass really directs you to content. And so, again, you're free to explore. And that's one of the things that really isn't out in the market right now for MMOs, and it makes it great.
It definitely looks like the world of Elder Scrolls. How are you classifying the art style? I mean, it's not too cartoony, it's not too realistic. How do you classify it internally?
Well, I think it's the art style. Number one, it's going to allow 200 players in the game at the same time, fighting these huge epic battles. And so for me, the art style allows that while at the same time remaining, it looks gorgeous, right? So it's fantastic.
All right, Paul, I have so many questions, but I'm not the only one with questions. We're going to head over to Justine right now, who has a few questions for you from our fans on Facebook and Twitter. Justine, what do you got?
Oh, we have some interesting tweets, of course, as always. Here is one. It's, I want to mount a dragon and fly over Tamriel. Can you make a girl's dreams come true? This didn't come from me. This was not my question.
Well, that's really interesting. So we don't have, the time period we're set in the second era of Tamriel, and there's no dragons actually active at this time. So we won't have dragons because we're staying true to the lore.
Let's see, we have some other ones too. You guys talked about the art style. Mia Culpepper is saying it feels like it's a little departure from Skyrim.
It is a slight departure from Skyrim, and the reason it is because we have so many cultures. It spans all over, the continent of Tamriel. There's Morrowind, the Dark Elves, and the High Elves, and you have to blend all of those different cultures together. And so the art style is really a mix. Just like every Elder Scrolls game has been different, we are no different from that.
Yeah, no, it looks great. All right, we have one more question here. Are Redguard considered Nedic men? Like Nords or Imperials?
So Redguard actually are not Nedic men in that way, I don't believe. They actually came over to the continent of Tamriel, almost like I think they call it a regatta, that when they came over to Tamriel. So they're actually more or less imports and not the original people from the land.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone on Twitter is super excited. Remember, you guys can also download Yahoo's Into Now app and tag Spike's E3 All Access coverage, chat with other fans, and we've got another Wii U demo coming up after the break. You're not going to want to miss it.
Back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live, and I'm about to get a look at one of the most talked about games so far of E3 2012 with Gabrielle from Ubisoft. We're taking a look at ZombiU for the Nintendo Wii U. This is the world exclusive premiere of the gameplay. Thanks for joining us. Walk us through what we're going to see here.
Our pleasure. Well, we're incredibly excited to be here, trembling with pleasure, and we hope that you guys will tremble with fear as soon as you get your hands on this game. This is Ubisoft's new IP. It's exclusive for the Wii U, and it was built from the ground up to make the best use of all of the controller's new features. We have a lot of features. Guillaume's going to present some of them to us. The game takes place in London in 2012, in the midst of an outbreak of a tremendous, horrible virus of unknown, plague-like proportions. And we play as a survivor, just like you and me, probably relatively clueless. And you only get one life. Each character you play only lives once. And that's the real novelty of this game, that you play as survivor, but when you die, and most of us will die, you come back as another survivor who's in exactly the same precarious conditions as the first one that you just played. And then you get to go back and you have to hunt down your former survivor, who is now a zombie, in order to get your bug-out bag, which is the survivalist's term for your backpack, basically. And so the Wii U controller, the gamepad, manifests as the ultimate all-in-one Swiss knife of survival kits. And in your hands, you have everything you need to survive as long as you can. It's a truly core gamer concept in that it resides in one question: how long will you survive?
That's awesome. I mean, what an awesome idea for a zombie game. And in terms of the controller, as you mentioned, obviously this is the huge innovation here. Talk a little bit about how you'll interact with the items and what else you'll be doing gameplay-wise with the controller.
Absolutely. So as you can see in the demo, Guillaume is going into his bug-out bag. And it's in real time. And he just had to use what we call the Verucide, which is a sort of zombie poison, and it acts more like a shield. And that's the only chance you get. Those are few and far between in the game. Most of the time, so as you see, as you go from the first person to the third person view, you're in danger. And he lasted 4 minutes.
Right.
Or 4 seconds.
Right. 4 minutes or 4 seconds, either one. So you have to come back as a different character. But what about checkpoints? What about your progress? How is that handled?
There are no checkpoints and there are no game overs in this game. The idea is that as a survivor, it's more like a relay. You take on the role of the new survivor, who we have Lucy Cox, who is now going to go back and get her bug-out bag and get all the vital supplies that you just sacrificed a life for, stupidly.
So what is the end game then here, Gabrielle, in terms of how are you surviving this outbreak, this infestation of zombies, and ultimately progressing to the end of the game?
Well, it's very true to the pure foundations of survival horror genre and zombie fiction in general. It means that heroes are pretty much few and far between, and they mostly all die. And the point is that you might get one guy out of this game, and you want to be challenged to build up a character. And what's going to really make you adhere to the character that you have is that you do build up skills, which you will lose. So if you play for a couple hours, you might become incredibly powerful with a particular weapon, and you'll lose those skills when you rebirth with a new survivor. But it's an interesting and a significant opportunity. It fits with the survival horror genre, and it offers that unique twist of saying, well, can I do better? So can you do better with your next survivor that comes along?
Well, it sounds extremely interesting. Zombie fans and gamers, I mean, go hand in hand. So we're going to love to see what this project does and how it progresses. Thanks for showing us the exclusive first look. Now, I understand Jeff has a very special guest and a very special announcement for us over in the lounge. Jeff, what do you got?
Thank you, Daniel. Well, a unique opportunity presented itself this year, and we just had to seize it. Peter Molyneux, the man who created the Fable franchise, is sitting down here to ask the tough questions of the man currently in charge of Fable, Lionhead creative director Gary Carr, on the same couch here together. So this is all over to, this is the Peter Molyneux interview. Peter, Gary, go at it, Peter.
Right, this is going to get tough, guy. First of all, let me say I've worked with this guy for like 25 years. He used to be a punk with spiked hair.
Now I'm a middle-aged man.
Now look what software design does and being a designer. So, Gary, Fable the Journey. I mean, my first question is this a Fable game?
Of course, it's a Fable game. It's in Albion. It's got all the some of the great characters we've seen in the previous Fables. Some of the great creature types.
Great characters?
Teresa, Spire,
yeah.
of course. And we're bringing back some great creatures like the Trolls from the early Fable games, and the Hollow Men, of course, which have been in a lot of the games. So, yeah, I think it's a very familiar world. It's certainly a beautiful, rich, vast world. So I don't think.
But you know, if I was a Fable fan, I would say, you know, I want another controller-based game. Why on earth have you used Kinect?
Well, we're using Kinect as a controller this time around, Peter. I mean, I think it's exciting to use any new interface into a game. So we thought it was a great opportunity to put you in the world. Stop smiling at me like that. You remember, I can't cope with this guy. 22 years and he's still the same.
You still haven't answered the question. I've learned from Jeff you've got to be tough. You've got to get your answers.
So no, I think Kinect is a fantastic device. I think it's a great opportunity to put you into the world as the hero. And you know, we did a lot of playing around in the Milo days, Peter, as you know, and we just love playing around with Kinect, and we just thought it was a great opportunity.
So, okay, let's get to the heart of this. Are you saying that there was a tech that we saw in those Milo demos in Fable?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the very early days of Milo, which was back in November 2008, we were playing around with a lot of things, and we used a lot of opportunities. One of them being to sit on a couch, which is really important. We wanted Milo to be a seated experience, so we basically migrated that technology into Fable, because we want to make a long play game. We want to make a game where you can sit down as a more core gamer and play something without jumping around for 5 minutes and then sitting down. So it's important.
That's not like most of the Kinect games I've seen. Most of the Kinect games are these little party games.
And they're great, and I love those games, but I think, you know, we didn't want to do Fable the party game, so we wanted to do something where you could sit down and enjoy a long play experience on the couch, and that's what we've done.
And how long is a long play experience?
Long play, I think I play the game, but I rabbit run through the game, and it takes me about 12 to 13 hours.
Really?
I think for a lot of people, they'll easily be able to eke out 20 hours plus of gameplay out of this game.
And just give me some example of what you do in those 12, 20 hours.
Well, basically, we're giving you magic. And magic is a fantastic. I mean, it just feels great when you're in Kinect at weave spells. And there's stuff you can do in Fable you couldn't do on a controller. So you're using both your hands, you're playing around with magic, you're casting the spell in this hand, you're holding a creature in the air, and then you're blasting it with a firebolt in the other hand. Now, you can't do that with a controller.
Because that's a key point, isn't it? Is that if you could do it with a controller, what's the point in having a Kinect?
Well, I just think what we've done is we've done what Kinect does well and avoided doing things that perhaps you prefer to do on a controller. And that's I think the key to designing something with Kinect is just make sure you actually use its unique selling points.
Well, yeah, I think that's it, Peter.
Is that it?
Leave it. That's a wrap.
Live and kiss.
We'll have to wait. Maybe we could do it at the break and we'll post it online or something, because this is fantastic. Peter, thank you for being a good sport there, guys.
Thanks very
good
much.
stuff.
Cheers,
Fable the Journey, of course, is coming out this holiday season. And when Spike's E3 All Access continues, we'll have even more from the Wii U lineup, plus another look at Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Use this break wisely. We'll be right back.
to the Spike E3 2012 All Access Live Studio, brought to you by the revolutionary Samsung Galaxy Note, available from AT&T. I'm Amanda McKay, coming to you from downtown Los Angeles, where over 60,000 people have gathered to usher in our entertainment future. Earlier today, Jeff Keighley sat down with the president of Sony Computer Entertainment America, Jack Tretton, and Jeff didn't shy away from asking the tough questions. When pressed about the long-rumored PlayStation game Agent, Jack definitely sidestepped the question and put the onus on the publisher.
Any updates? Does that game still exist?
You couldn't have said it better when you said Agent from Rockstar.
Right.
I work for Sony Computer Entertainment. The minute I start working for Rockstar, I'll have some definitive information for you on Agent.
When asked about how Sony is faring in the Big Three race, Tretton had a unique spin on his company's place in the gaming world.
You look back again on history, we've never been first, we've never been cheapest. It's about being the best, you know, and I think if you can build a better machine and it's going to come out a little bit later, that's better than rushing something to market that's going to run out of gas for the long term. So I think, you know, ideally, in a perfect world, you want the best machine that ships first, that's cheapest, but, you know, the #1 goal is to be the best machine, and that's what we're always focused on.
Well said. Well, Daniel has more from Sony. He's about to get hands-on with the PS Vita. Daniel?
All right, thanks, Amanda. Get ready to rock. It's my pleasure to welcome game designer John Mack, who's giving us a demo, hands-on, exclusive new content, Sound Shapes. Thanks for joining us, John. Tell us all about this game.
Well, for those who don't know yet, Sound Shapes is a musical platformer, but there's no pre-recorded music or anything. You actually, all the creatures and the things that you do in the game make the music. And what's great is you can then go into the editor and sort of create your own tunes, upload to the community, just check out other people's tunes. It's really a great way to make music, but it's also a game.
Yeah, and it sounds like maybe an intimidating process, but you've made it super easy. So we're going to jump right in and create a beat right here on the GT All Access stage. So show us how that's done and walk us through the process.
Okay, cool. So one thing that last year when we showed it, we had a bunch of notes that you can place down. One thing we have new is these loop notes. So I'm going to demonstrate those for you right now. I'll just place them down. I don't know if you guys are getting this audio, but it just plays a loop, but then you can mess with it. So each of these rows is a different loop that you could sort of cut into like a DJ. So
yeah, give me a fat beat, man.
All right.
We want to rock out here.
Okay.
I'm a drummer too, so I'm a little biased about
okay.
So yeah, let's see what this thing could do. I mean, I know it's simple, easy to access as you're showing. You're just dropping stuff in there right now. And this is all on the go with the Vita. But we know there's crossplay involved as well, which you guys are talking about at E3, right?
Yep. Hold on, I'm going to try to attempt to answer your question while putting in the so-called fat beats.
Fat beats, let those creative juices flow right here.
Yeah, so there's crossplay. So I can take this level that I'm making right now, sort of under the gun, with a bunch of cameras pointing at me.
That's what makes it fun, man.
And you can upload it to the community, and then you can go and download it. Like, let's say you're playing on your PS3, you can upload your level to the community, and then download it back on your Vita. So, like, let's say you're on a train, you want to keep jamming on your tunes, download other people's stuff. So it's like crossplay. You can play on both.
So I could download somebody else's track and then further create on it?
Well, you can download your own and further create on it.
Okay, so you have the ability to take it on the go, do what you want to do in order to work on it continuously.
Exactly, and it's one price point, so you pay one price and you get both the Vita and the PlayStation version.
Awesome. Okay, and tell us who you're aiming this at. I mean, it's kind of it's not just a game creation system, right? I mean, it's a game as well.
It's well, one thing we've been trying really hard to do is sort of make it both a game and a musical instrument, which is really hard to do. If you think about it, they're like almost opposing ideas.
Right.
And also make it so that it's easy for people to use. So, I mean, we could have simply just put whatever Cubase on here plus Visual Studio.
Right.
Okay, well then you're in trouble. No one's going to understand how to do that.
Right.
But we sort of made it so that every time you play something down, like, I don't know, I placed whatever, 10 notes down and it's already something, you know what I mean? So we tried really hard to make it so that whatever you do, something cool is happening.
It looks awesome, man. We really appreciate it very much. Thanks for showing it to us here on E3 All Access. Now, when we come back, gang, we will boldly go where no one else has gone before. We'll see you in a few.
There it is. is the Staples Center, home to the Kings, and right behind it, the LA Convention Center, home to E3. Welcome back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live. We are in the midst of 17 hours of live coverage, delivering more exclusive content to gamers worldwide than anybody else out there. And all eyes are on Los Angeles right now. And we're coming to you from the epicenter of E3 with tons of huge game demos and announcements. Here with the legendary Peter Molyneux, and of course Justine is over at our social board because there's a lot of talk right now about all the big three. The big three conferences have happened here, Peter, and we're going to take a look at who's winning E3.
Well, right here, you can see the big three, obviously Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. Nintendo is over 93,000 tweets. I mean, they were behind this entire time. So what do you guys, what are you thinking here?
I mean, as I said to Reggie, you know, it's interesting, like, we don't measure positive or negative sentiment, but it's certainly the most talked about thing. But in some ways, it's expected. I mean, they announced, you know, they showed a new system. So it's...
Yeah, do you think it... I mean, the Microsoft conference was hugely professional. Nintendo was a little less professional. Do you think people just love that hardware and the new hardware?
I think they also, you know, you look at what's trending, right? The Project P100 that we just showed off. Great. That was the #1. Pikmin, I think it's just, it's something completely new and unexpected. Whereas Microsoft, you know, very well done press conference with, you know, games that we were expecting to see, and they were fantastic. And Sony, I mean, even a little bit higher than Microsoft. Yeah, it's tough. I think, you know, everyone's they're a Nintendo fan in their heart.
Well,
right?
I can tell you, we're all Nintendo fans. We all love them. We depend on them to come out with that freshness and newness, especially on this new hardware. And maybe they did, looking at those numbers. Maybe they, you know...
Certainly, people discussing or debating, right? Whether it's...
the interesting thing for me, I think, Project P100 was probably the most exciting thing, and it wasn't on stage.
I know, they brought it right here to us, which is interesting,
incredible,
but it's one of those things where I think Nintendo has to balance, you know, the core audience versus this expanded audience with Wii Fit U and things like that. So, yeah, you're right, though. I think it was really interesting to see, you know, an innovative new IP, like you were saying before. It came from Platinum in partnership with Nintendo.
Yes, very good.
Excellent. All right. Well, we are going to see what's happening. The timeline is also interesting because we've got Nintendo really just jumped right up there. And we're going to have to see what happens. But yeah, there you go, Nintendo right at the top. All right, we're heading over to Daniel right now because DK has a demo that makes Middle-earth seem suddenly adorable. Daniel,
that is right, Jeff and Justine. Thank you so much. Star Wars, Pirates of the Caribbean, Batman, something magical happens when you put the word Lego in front of them. Well, guess what? Now it's Lord of the Rings' turn to have some real fun. Joining me now is developer Jonathan Smith from Telltale. Jonathan, welcome to the stage. You're going to talk and play the game for us, but before we play some exclusive footage, tell us about where this game is set.
Well, this tells the whole story of the epic tale of Lord of the Rings. All 3 movies, all 3 books, that journey, that massive, amazing adventure is all here for you in Lego form, as you've never seen it before.
Really? Okay, well, let's dive into the gameplay. I know you're going to be playing and talking, so tell us a little bit about the characters and the environments that we'll come across initially in the game and what you're showing off here today.
Sure. Well, you know, we've just completed Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes. That's on show here at E3 as well, and that's coming out next week. We're really, really excited about that. We're already working really hard on the next big Lego game, and here it is. You should be able to see, for the first time, some Lego Lord of the Rings characters. There's Gimli, of course, and they're going to be, I wonder if we can hear what they're saying.
Yes, we can. Classic scene, of course, reborn in Lego form. And I think the thing that people love about these Lego games, John, is that, you know, you guys always connect with the fans. It's like you have a little bit underneath the surface. I mean, if you're a hardcore fan of any of these franchises, then you guys give nods to them. Can we expect the same here in Lord of the Rings?
Oh, of course. And you can see from what we're showing here how closely we match the great scenes that you remember from the movies that have brought the books to life so fantastically. We actually use movie dialogue taken straight from the movie, so the original actors' performances will now be coming out of the mouths of these Lego characters to give them a completely new kind of personality. And here, this is a very memorable scene here in Balin's tomb. Poor old Gimli. Gandalf is here to pat him on the shoulder.
I love it's a Lego. It's beautiful. Talk a little bit about the gameplay, though, when we get in there. Are we going to see anything new for you guys in terms of the Lego franchise, which is, you know, people kind of know what to expect, but are you throwing any curveballs on them this time?
Sure. Well, I'll show you some of the gameplay now. We'll just skip over this little section here where he falls down the well. Oh, no, there's hobbits down the well. We're going to have to use some puzzle-solving gameplay to bring the Fellowship back together. And yeah, you know, some aspects are like you've seen in other LEGO games. We're still going to be collecting these little LEGO studs. We're still controlling these adorable LEGO minifig characters. We're still switching between different characters. There's the amazing Gandalf. You should see him in combat. He's awesome. We've got the amazing Legolas. Legolas. It just writes itself.
It does write itself.
And of course, they've all got their own individual abilities. So Legolas can aim and fire his bow at targets. And what we're going to do is we're going to explore and play with all the different bits of Lego that we find here. We can use Aragorn's sword to smash up objects. We can use, I can find Sam over here. I can use Sam's tinderbox.
Right.
And I'll use that to burn through some Lego. So we've got lots of new abilities, lots of new features, okay, but still with many of the same principles. So it's still going to be two-player drop-in, drop-out gameplay, you know, with the split screen that we've had before. It's still going to tell the story with humour and charm. There we go. We're setting fire to that brown Lego, and that's going to give us a key that if I can pick that up, I can take that over to the chest that I just discovered in the Lego and place that in there. And this has all taken me one step further towards actually using my Lego here on this well to bring back my friend.
It looks fantastic, John. We really appreciate you showing us the world premiere of exclusive gameplay. And I'm glad to see you building on the Lego brand, pun intended, in a very big way with Lord of the Rings. So thanks for showing it off.
You're very welcome.
Now listen, when we come back, gang, Resident Evil 6 and Dishonored will take the stage. You won't want to miss it. Stick around. We'll see you in a second.
Are you a gamer?
I am a gamer.
You are? What's your favorite game?
Halo. Big Halo 3 ODST fan.
We have a new Halo coming out.
I heard last couple of the campaigns have been a little spotty. They've been trying to compete with, I don't even want to mention its name, but
Call of Duty. Wow, Call of Duty. So that's how hardcore you
You're either a Halo
are.
guy or a Call of Duty guy. Like you're either a South Park guy or a Family guy.
I didn't realize it was this competitive. Wow, you're a true gamer.
It is, I am.
Welcome back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live. As much fun as E3 is, don't forget that Spike's Guys' Choice Awards are airing on Spike June 9th. Now, we're going to continue to bring you every second of E3 as global entertainment history is made. I'm Amanda McKay, and this is what we still have in store. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we will talk some racing with IndyCar star Danica Patrick. At 12:38, we'll have part 2 of our in-depth look at Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Then, about 10 minutes after that, EA Games Chief Operating Officer Peter Moore will sit down with Jeff Keighley. Jeff, what else is going on?
It's a big end to our coverage over the next few hours, Amanda. Thank you so much. Now, once gamers got a glimpse of the brutal steampunk-inspired world of Dishonored, the game leapt to the top of the most anticipated list heading into E3. We had a trailer last week on GTTV that was just absolutely phenomenal. And here to tell us what we can expect from Dishonored is Arcane Studios founder, Raf Colantonio. Raf, you've got some exclusive new footage of Dishonored to show us. We're so excited about this game. I actually got to play it a few weeks ago at an event and had a lot of fun. So set it up. What are we going to see here today? Stealth, action, what's the playthrough going to be?
Yes, so we're going to see a portion of a mission. In Dishonored, you play a supernatural assassin, and you get to play the way you want. So you have all those powers. You can teleport. You can, stop time. You can possess
Turn
animals.
into a rat if you want.
You can turn into a rat if you want and infiltrate areas. So and then you have all those missions where you have to, of course, eliminate targets.
Right.
And the point is you can really do it the way you want. Every time you play, it's a little different. So that's really what's great about this game.
Now, I know you're you're framed, right, in this game? That's sort of the setup of the story?
Right. In terms of the story, you were the bodyguard of the Empress, and you got framed for a murder, and you got accused wrongly, of course. So you are thrown to jail, and then you escape, and you meet this organization that is going to help you to restore the kingdom the way it should be.
Right. So what is our goal? With this mission? Tell us, what are we trying to accomplish?
So here, you're trying to infiltrate this bathhouse called the Golden Cat,
Right.
and there are 2 corrupt members of the parliament, the Pendleton brothers. They are 2 twin brothers. Each of them are randomly positioned in different rooms of this building. Okay. So every time you play, it's a little different.
I just possess a fish?
You just possess a fish
Wow.
so that you can infiltrate through the water path.
First playable fish at E3 confirmed, Raph. Best playable fish. You got the award. All right, so as we play through here, wow, look at this.
And really, there are like 8 to 10 ways in to this building, and so that was one of them.
Playable fish is the most fun, though, and you gave us the most fun one.
It's one of the most fun.
Makes for a good demo. All right, so now the fish is inside, and we've assumed a human form again, right?
Absolutely.
What happens if you try and jump onto the out of the water? Does fish die?
You cannot jump out of the water.
No jumping fish?
No.
Not allowed.
No
All right,
no.
Continue on, Ralph. Sorry.
So at this point, you are inside the building, and you can overhear conversations so that you get updated on the target position. You see the markers over there. They indicate you the position of the targets.
Right.
You don't even
and so here he's using a power to see through walls, and this is very helpful for stealth gameplay. You can see the line of where they're looking,
right?
The characters, you know, and then over their head you could see that these little lines. These are indicators of their alertness feedback.
Right. And when I was playing a few weeks ago, it also seems like there's this sort of Overwatch that when they sound the siren, you lose some of your powers, right?
Yes, there is.
I'm not seeing it here necessarily.
Yeah, we don't see this right now.
Right, but I know that's another way. So at some points you don't always have access to everything, right?
You don't have access to everything. I mean, here in the demo we show a lot of the powers, but really you have to acquire those powers and you have to upgrade them, and you have to consume mana every time you use those powers.
Right. So as you play through this game, I think some people look at this saying, I love stealth games. Other people don't like stealth games. It really is player choice, right? How you want to go through this game.
Absolutely. This is a simulation, so stealth is part of the system, and the characters will react if they see you. But so primarily, if you take advantage of the stealth system, you can actually be very lethal because you can kill people in one attack if they don't see you. Now, if they see you, or if you're being detected, if they found a body, then suddenly things turn to being hectic, and this is also another kind of fun that starts.
Right.
And I think at some point we're going to see this in the demo.
Oh, I see. So a little high stakes action as well as we play through it here. And go through the combat. So tell me, how is the game structured? I mean, is it sort of a series of missions taking out a series of targets, basically?
Right. This is not an open world. This is mission after mission, very well-crafted missions. That's really what we wanted to do, so that we could make all those areas very precise. We wanted to craft them.
Excellent. Well, as you go through here, you got some rats. You can possess them. All these amazing powers as you go through. Looks like we've got we've eliminated one of the targets, and now
yes, one of the targets eliminated, forward, right? And now we're going to, this is a little bit of a fast forward, we're going to eliminate the second target. And to do that, we're going to show how we can possess, like we just saw how we could possess a fish, but at high level of the power, you can also possess human beings, and that's what we're going to show here, even including the target, actually.
Right. All right, well, let's keep going here and see what happens, how you're going to infiltrate, get in here, and figure it out, and go through the unbreakable door and eliminate the target here, right, Raph?
Absolutely. The thing is that there are tons of ways to play each of the missions, and so here this is just one of the ways to do it. Like, our game is not much scripted. A lot relies on the simulation and the systems.
Right. All right. Well, looks like you're about to take him down, Raph. Thank you so much for swinging by and showing us an exclusive new look at Dishonored here.
You're welcome.
We can't wait to check it out. It is coming out this October, right?
It is on October 9th in North America and October 12th in Europe.
All right, we are worldwide with the streaming. Thank you very much, Raph. Now, yesterday, Microsoft unveiled Dance Central 3 with a live performance by Usher. Nerd Machine's Allison Hayslip got a chance to talk to the smooth R&B star and check out what he had to say.
Thanks, guys. Okay, Usher, I gotta ask.
Talk to me.
How good are you at this game? Because I picture you playing it on hard and like the TV exploding and smoke blowing out everywhere.
You know what? Anybody can play it, no matter how good or bad you may perceive yourself to be. Yeah, I've been working at it, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think you can actually teach people to be better dancers?
Yeah, you know what? You definitely can. As I said, anybody can do it. You know, if you are a new learner, if you're an experienced dancer, I mean, it's really fun. I mean, it's athletic. You know, it's fun. It's good for parties, and you know, you actually can brush up on your skill too.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm going to try that when I get home.
Yeah.
Now, how did the whole partnership with Harmonix come out? Because obviously your songs are in the game, but you actually worked with them on the moves too, right?
Yeah, well, we worked together on the moves for 2 songs. One is my current single, Scream, and the other is OMG. Pretty much the movement was, you know, pretty made up, but we got creative, came up with some cool names, and made it a little bit difficult. You know, there was a whole process of how hard it could be, middle, and then also easy. But throughout the process in the game, I actually kind of usher you through the process of how to, you know, brush up on your skills.
Quite fitting.
There you go.
Nice. Now I picture you going in there and being like, yes. I picture you going in and saying, guys, there's not enough like smoothness to the arm or not enough crotch grabs. Is that what you did?
A little bit of all of that. Yeah, I don't know if I got the crotch grab out of it, but definitely.
Has to be family friendly.
It has to be, but family friendly in this sense is like for everybody, every age. And, you know, as I said, if you don't know much about dance, you will learn. Old school, new trends, new crazes, you know, and usher movement.
Were you trying to teach the developers dance moves while you were in there?
Well, for me, it's about a universal language. Dance is something that has been around forever, and this game offers me the opportunity to allow, you know, people to have that experience through dance and music.
Right. Now I have to ask, we're at E3. Do you game? Because I picture you getting on Xbox Live and challenging the Biebs to like Call of Duty or something like that.
You know what? We haven't done a Call of Duty, but I found out about some new games that are coming.
Yeah.
Man, there will be a face-off.
Nice. You're
Yeah.
ready. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. The game looks awesome.
No doubt about it.
All right, back to you guys. I'm going to work on my dance moves.
Yeah, man.
Now, one of the men helping usher into a new era is Microsoft's president of interactive entertainment, Don Mattrick. As the president of Microsoft's interactive entertainment business, Don Mattrick has transformed the Xbox 360 from a mere game console to a universal entertainment platform. This transformation began years ago when Don unveiled Kinect at E3 2009, then known as Project Natal. Not content to simply change the video game industry, he also made sure to bring along some high-powered friends.
Please welcome Steven Spielberg.
2 months ago, Don shared with me the Natal experience, and the gamer in me went out of my mind.
A year later, Don once again stunned the gaming world by revealing the redesigned Xbox 360, indicating that the console wasn't going to go extinct, it was going to evolve.
This is your new Xbox 360, completely redesigned for the future of entertainment.
So now that it's 2012, is this generation of consoles coming to an end? And what does Don have to say about it? Let's find out. All right, and here he is, Don Mattrick. Great to see you again, Don.
Great to see you, Jeff. Thanks
This
for
is a
having
yearly
thanks
tradition.
for having me on the show. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate
Well,
it.
it's great to have your press conference yesterday. You guys did a great job, and great to have you here today. And I got to say, a lot of people are talking about this smart glass technology that you guys unveiled. I understand you're demoing it at the show. Do you think, is this a game changer for you guys?
Yeah, we think it's really an important platform-level innovation for us. It's adding the capabilities of sharing content with devices that you already own and making your Xbox and your big screen TV the center of just amazing experiences.
Yeah, it's very cool. Now let's talk, something that our audience cares about, our games. And you guys have a lot of entertainment announcements, a lot of other great stuff. How important are, the first-party games and those big blockbusters to you going forward?
They're incredibly important. And our team that's creating Halo 4 this year, I think, is going to have the biggest blockbuster, biggest exclusive on any platform this holiday. I know you had a chance to come up and visit.
I was very impressed by what I saw.
I've been playing the game, and it's awesome. And we're really excited about the innovation that the team's come up with.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk, you talk a lot about the games this year, but you're a vision guy, and I mean, you oversee, Microsoft's entertainment strategy overall. Where do you see Microsoft, 2-3 years down the road? I mean, a lot of talk now about, is this a gaming console, is it an entertainment device? How do these devices connect together? What is your vision for where you want to, make entertainment easier for consumers?
Great question. Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to thank all the consumers that have been supporting us along our journey. And this past year, we went through an important milestone. We became #1 selling console globally, which is a real achievement. And what we're trying to do is create the best experience, all classes of content, make our device the center of fun in your living room. And platform features like Xbox Smart Glass just demonstrate that. So that's what it's about. The best games, best media consumption, all up.
How is the $99 Xbox 360 experiment going?
It's great. What we're trying to do is learn about what consumers want in terms of purchase options. So we've come up with a promotion, a bit of a pilot where you can get an Xbox for $99. You can subscribe to Live for a set term at $19 a month. And what we're learning is people are purchasing that and also purchasing just more of the box under our current pricing structure.
Because I feel, that could really change the game with a future console to introduce it, at a subscription basis. I mean, is that something you're thinking about making a console available?
Well, we're always trying to learn about our business and how to bring more value to consumers. So right now, this is all about Xbox 360 and the great offering
this year it is, but we know behind the scenes people are working on lots of secret stuff, right, Don? No comment, but we'll see, right?
Yeah.
Well, tell me, vision-wise, though, I mean, you have a console, you obviously have phones, you have tablets. I mean, how are these all going to work together? Because, you hear Apple making announcements about what they're doing. I mean, you guys really are an entertainment company now.
Yeah, look, we've got, there's an incredible group of competitors, Sony, Nintendo, Apple, Google. Everyone's trying to over-deliver value for consumers. And
what's your unique proposition? Why is Microsoft going to be best at this?
I think that Microsoft is going to win because, first off, we've got an amazing set of assets inside the company. Great people, great operating expertise, great service DNA, and it's a company that's operating at scale and has already changed how the whole world works.
Right.
I mean, it.
So how do you want to? What's the next thing you want to change?
What I want to deliver is, first off, a great holiday for our business, for consumers, for our partners. And we're going to continue to innovate in our platform and keep adding in functionality and features. We added in Connect. We really built out our live business. This year we're featuring the Smart Glass. We're doing innovation with all classes of content. We brought on over 100 entertainment partners globally.
I got to get my own channel soon.
And we should have the Jeff channel. We really should.
We got to work on that. Now, last question for you. Is Connect, has it been as successful as you want it to be? I know that some core gamers don't use it as much as I think they thought they might. But
again, we're #1 in the world. We're driving the industry. We've had over a 40% share for approximately 16 months in North America. So something is going right. And I think that the rollout with Connect is great. There's a ton of innovation. We're showing a lot of the functionality with voice and Bing search. This show, and we're going to continue to invest in it. And I think it's something that makes it accessible and fun, and that's what this business is about, right?
Well, and also a lot of people doing cool accelerator projects, creativity around it. It's,
absolutely,
it's awesome. All right, well, Don, thank you very much for stopping by. We look forward to seeing you in the future again. When we come back, we promised you over 50 game exclusives with E3, and we have not yet delivered all of them. So we'll remedy that with a first look at Resident Evil 6 as soon as Spike's live coverage from E3 continues live.
All right, welcome back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live. Now, Resident Evil has been one of the gaming world's biggest success stories. Not only consistently one of the best and most respected games, but we all know it's even spawned a popular movie franchise of its own, making it a true rarity and a global pop culture phenomenon. Now, Capcom comes to E3 2012 bearing Resident Evil 6, and you saw it at their press conference, but you're about to get an exclusive demo right here on our stage. Miguel from Capcom is here to do that.
Hello, Dan.
Thanks for joining me, Miguel.
No problem.
Resident Evil 6 coming into E3 is huge.
Yeah.
And we're going to see brand new footage and brand new story elements. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see.
Okay, so this time, Resident Evil 6, we got 3 protagonists, so you don't just follow one storyline, you get to follow 3.
Right.
You have Leon, Chris, fan favorites, and a new character, Jake. Some people also calling him Wesker's son, as we have revealed already. And Jake is a unique character because he doesn't fight the way other characters do in this game. He's got a few extra special moves that none of the other characters can do. So I think fans of the series will welcome him as a new addition, something special to play as.
Yes, now we saw Leon gameplay during the press conference, but now we're going to see him right here. Walk us through exactly what we're seeing.
Okay. What we're trying to do is trying to create with the 3 protagonists different types of horror settings, and one of the most classic elements of Resident Evil has been the Nemesis creature. Jake himself is being stalked by a gigantic creature called Ustanak, and you have to pretty much outrun that creature for a lot of Jake's story. Right now, he's in fighting some of the new enemies we have called the Juavo. Of course, the traditional zombies will be in Resident Evil that everyone wants, but these are a new enemy. They're a little smarter. They can use weapons, and Jake has got to fight them first.
Right, now obviously part of introducing these new characters and these 3 different ways to play you guys talked about is distinct play styles. A lot of people think maybe Resident Evil has veered towards action in recent years, but there's a lot of survival horror elements as well, right?
That's very true. With Jake, you have some special weapons available to you. Some classic powerful weapons will be strewn around stages, but you do have to manage your ammo, and you can't just fire wildly and hope you can find bullets wherever they are. Jake also can use hand-to-hand combat. He's one of the few characters that we've ever designed that will be able to do that. So you can switch from his weapons using any type of machine gun or pistols, or go to hand-to-hand combat.
Right, and you talked a little bit about the 3 different characters, but each one has an accomplice as well on their journey through the story, correct?
That is true. They each have a partner character. Jake's partner is Sherry, Sherry Birkin, you might remember from Resident Evil 2, which took place a few years ago. So she's grown up and she's become a successful agent in her own right.
Right. So the partner characters, is that a co-op experience, or is this something just on the single-player side, or?
That is a co-op experience. Awesome. You can play alone if you want, and the AI will control the partner character, but we recommend that you play with your friends.
Right, and like you said, distinct play style, so when you go through the game, I mean, there's really kind of 3 games here in terms of how they're going to play out. Story-wise, how are their perspectives different?
Okay, all the stories will intersect at different points. Each character follows their own story, and if you play, say, Jake's story, from start to finish, you get Jake's story, and you can just enjoy that and stop playing. But we want you to play all the characters and enjoy all their stories. They will cross over at different points and intersect, and you'll be able to see the story from different points of view. So, our director just died. Classic, yes. You are dead.
Sasaki-san is actually playing the game backstage for us, which is amazing. We see that the game is going to be available this October. And talk a little bit more about the character interaction, obviously from a story perspective. Where does it take place in regards to Resident Evil 5?
This takes place a few years after Resident Evil 5. It's set in 2013. A lot of our Resident Evil games, as fans know, we try to set them as close to real time as we can. So the characters do age, which is probably rare for a lot of gaming franchises.
Right. So talk a little bit about the difficulty level as well. Obviously, we just saw a character die, but what are you trying to do here in terms of reaching a new audience, but also appealing to that hardcore gamer who's been with the franchise for a long time?
We're trying to give everyone the opportunity to enjoy this game. Right. So we're hoping that for new players, they have the weapons, the tools they need to play this game. We want to make it more intuitive. The controls are more organic. I think, you know, in the past, the controls weren't always what everyone wanted them to be. I think we've really got them to where they should be. The director himself, Sasaki-san, he's been following all the gaming trends, seeing where action gaming is going, and he's trying to incorporate a lot of those elements that people assume you should have in an action game into Resident Evil 6.
A very cinematic sequence unfolding right before our eyes here exclusively on our all-access stage, but did that help in the fact that you have 3 different stories? Were you able to craft more precise stories that you wanted to tell, more action-packed moments within all 3 of them?
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted to do. It seemed the development team themselves had so many different ideas, they didn't know where to go, and eventually they decided on, well, why don't we do all of them and try and merge them, and then that way you don't have to force gameplay on certain characters and make it feel awkward. We can just match the gameplay to the character and their story, so everything feels more synthetic, more natural in that regard.
Right. All right, well, it's looking awesome, Miguel. We really appreciate you showing us Resident Evil 6 here on the stage. Now, we've got more exclusive coming your way when Spike's E3 All Access Live continues, so remember to hydrate.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live, where thousands of industry insiders and gaming fanatics gather to set the course for the future of our amazing industry. Welcome back. I'm Jeff Keighley, and we are continuing to bring you guys over 17 hours of live coverage and over 50 game exclusives. And we're not done yet, because now it is my pleasure to welcome NASCAR driver and former Spike TV host Danica Patrick.
Spike and I go back a long way, back to my days of Power Block, yes. But here I am again, yeah.
Well, it's great to have you back.
Thank you.
And now you're here to actually announce that you're not only a fan of this industry, but you're actually partnering with Sega for a new Sonic All-Stars Racing game.
Yep,
right?
It's Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed. So this is a game where you go by land, you go by sea, and you go by air. So the race combines all of them, and I'm a character you can play.
a playable Danica Patrick. Oh, here's some of the amazing footage of it. Now, you're actually in this game. You said you worked with them. You did voiceover. They modeled you. So this is kind of cartoonish. So it's not sort of a an avatar of you. It's sort
right.
of
I like the avatar of me much better. Anyway, you can make it perfect.
Right.
So it was really fun. We went into studio. We did all the voiceover and made all the sounds. And they let me definitely contribute. They're like, what would you really say in a race car? And so we added those lines in, and hopefully the people playing the game will see that authenticity and hear it, of course.
Have you played this game yet? Or
I have. And what's funny is that the very end of it is flying by air, and it's the hardest part of it. So I felt like I was doing really well until I got to the air part, and it's a whole different handling. So it's definitely a good challenge. It's fun. It's not super hard, and that's good because I'm not so great with it. I like to feel the G-forces myself, but it's good. It's fun to play all the different ways, by land, by sea, by air. That's fun to do.
Well, and that's what I love about a game like this is just hyper real, right? So I mean, it's not the NASCAR games, or sometimes it's like you do it every day, but it's like one of those things where as a game, it's not hyper real.
And in this game, unlike in NASCAR, you can crash and keep going. Thank goodness, because I would have been out very early when I played. But it's a really fun game to play.
And you're also partnered with Sega. I know your car, actually, you're going to be racing with sort of a Sega-branded car, right?
That's right. November at Texas Motor Speedway, I'm going to be driving the Sega car. So it's going to be really cool. I actually haven't seen it in real life yet. We're going to go down to E3 at the booth, and I'm going to see it for the first time and take some pictures and do some interviews and get everybody excited about the new Transform game.
Awesome. Well, thank you for stopping by to break the news with us first. Danica Patrick in the brand new Sonic game. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Danica. All right, well, let's find out what our friends at Nerd Machine have been up to all this time and check in with those guys.
So as you can see behind us, it's happening. It's the annual running of the nerds. Dave and Allison and I are about to head into the convention floor. What do you want to see most?
I want to check out Wii U.
What do you want to see most? I want to go see the new Xbox Live Arcade games. They looked awesome. Yesterday when we were behind the scenes, I want to get my hands on that Ascend game that I couldn't play yesterday. I just need to find a restroom.
Let's start it. Let's start E3.
Let's go, guys. Have fun.
What? Go.
All right, the Bellator Fighting Championships are already one of the largest mixed martial arts organizations in America, and now they're looking to conquer the gaming arena in a big way. Joining me is Bellator CEO Bjorn Rebney. Thanks for joining us, man. We're going to take a look at the game that you have. We have Michael Chandler, and Mercedes Terrell is here to show off this highly accessible Bellator game. Tell us all about the game, Bjorn.
It's just exciting, man. It mirrors what we're all about. It's tournament-based. You move forward by winning. And at Bellator, you move forward by winning. Everything we do, fighters control their own destiny. So if you're a gamer playing this game, you control your own destiny. You can build your own fighter. You can become the next Michael Chandler. You can become the next Pat Kern, a Patricio Pitbull. It's all in your hands. That's how the development works. And that we worked hand in hand with our development partners to create that game so that there was that kind of synergy. You watch a live Bellator event, you can play the game, and you can get mixed up as to which one is which. That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, it is. And as we're seeing right now on this stage, it's an accessible game as well, but there's also a lot of depth. But for people that are new to Bellator or looking to get involved, it obviously offers a fun time to dive right in, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's easily accessible. It's easy to play. You know, I like to kind of consider it the NFL Blitz as opposed to the NFL Madden. You don't need a degree from MIT to pick up this game and play it. It's intuitive. You pick up the controls. You can start playing right away. You can play against friends. You can play against family. You can play against people all over the world. And you can also play against the Mike Chandlers. You can play against Bellator superstars that you're watching on MTV2 and then successively on Spike go out and fight and try to gain a world title. So, you know, that makes it a very cool game. It's easy. Old guys like me can pick it up and play it with pretty a sense of ease.
Obviously, Michael Chandler over there has achieved real-world glory, but talk about gaming glory and a little bit about separating yourself from the competition, how you'll do that in this game.
Well, in terms of separation from the competition, again, it's intuitive, it's arcade style. I mean, this game is made to be played, and it's made to be real movement forward, real progression. You design your fighter, you end up getting a series of different skills, and ultimately you can progress to become a world champion and ultimately capture the title. Same thing as we've got with Bellator, same thing as we got with Mike versus Mercedes right now.
Right, Mike versus Mercedes is going on over there. How's it going, gang? You guys are take it
I'm
easy?
winning.
You're winning.
She's winning with me though, so really I'm winning. So it's fine.
It wins either way.
I win either way. It works
It's a
out
win-win
well.
for you. And from a control standpoint, obviously, this game is, you said accessible, but in terms of depth, people have something they could dive into if there's some meat on the bone as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of meat on the bone. I mean, our grappling system, what's happening on the ground in terms of our submission game is really state-of-the-art. The developers have really created something that is exactly duplicative of what you can see inside the Bellator cage. A triangle is a triangle. An omoplata is an omoplata. These moves have really been perfected inside of this game. So, I mean, what you're really watching and playing is an actual fighting game. You can engulf yourself in real mixed martial arts fighting vis-a-vis this game. And that's what's cool about it. I mean, there was an incredible attention to detail in terms of how that would work, but there was also a focus on making it intuitive, making it easy to play, and ultimately giving it something that people could pick up and play without, like I said, a degree from MIT in computer tech, you know?
Right. So will all the fighters that we're familiar with be in the game, or what is the roster looking like?
We've got 6 of our world-class fighters at 145 pounds. We got our champion, Pat Kern, at 145 pounds, and then 2 155-pound special entries in Mike Chandler, who's playing right now against Mercedes, and Patricky Pitbull, 2 of the most dynamic, explosive 55ers in the world. So ultimately starting out with 8 fighters, and we'll progress. There'll be add-ons later on. New fighters will enter the game, new technology. You'll kind of invest in the game and make it bigger, better, more powerful. So kind of exciting.
Right, and all that additional content is downloadable. This is a downloadable project as well, right? Why is that important for you guys?
Well, it's important because it's accessible. It's easy. You don't have to go anywhere to get it. Ultimately, bam, turn on the computer and rock and roll. You can get into our game in a matter of 10 seconds. It's easy, it's accessible, it's cost point efficient, it's $15, and you're really getting a world-class game where you can play with and against some of the greatest fighters in the world and develop your own fighter. Like I said, become the next Mike Chandler.
Do we already know which fighters from a DLC perspective might be coming into the arena post-launch?
We don't know post-launch yet because, man, we're tournament-based. Right. So today's unknown can become tomorrow's superstar. Analogous with the game, man. Start to play and ultimately develop yourself under that umbrella of the game. So who knows? A year and a half ago, Michael Chandler, virtually an unknown name. Now, one of the greatest 155-pound fighters on the face of the earth. You can track that same progression in the game itself.
And what has it been like for you to see the Bellator brand take off like this and to spawn a game like this? And how important is it for you to reach the gamers to let them know what you guys are cooking up?
Well, I mean, it's epic. The connectivity in terms of the demographic. I mean, gamers are our demo. That young male demographic that are playing games or who's watching Bellator, who's tuning in and going to be watching us on Spike Network, who's watching us currently on MTV2. That's where our demo lives. So that connectivity with the game was a no-brainer. We sat down with our partners at Viacom and at Spike and MTV Networks and said, this is something we have to do. This is about as easy a step as you would want to take in terms of reaching people that are watching our brand, tuning into our fights, buying tickets for the shows.
Are you going to be a downloadable character? We want to know.
Man, I hope not, because my ground game is wickedly bad. I've got no clinch game. My fists are just weak as can be. I'd say no.
Okay, but you do make an appearance in the game.
I do make a cameo appearance, but I'm not going to be hitting anybody or trying to submit anybody.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate your time very much. Thanks, guys. When we come back, you want more Call of Duty? Well, guess what? We're giving it to you. Call of Duty after the break. Stick around.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live. Now the entire gaming world is here in downtown Los Angeles, and some games are so big, so heavily anticipated that we can't cover them in just one sitting. And now we're going to get to a game we saw yesterday. We got some new stuff now on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Mark Lamia from Treyarch is back for day 2, Lamia. And I'm excited about this because you're going to show us Strike Force, which is a new mode in Black Ops 2. We're going to have a live playthrough here of it on Xbox 360. Let's get to that, but let's set it up. What is Strike Force?
So Strike Force levels, this is the introduction of non-linearity to the campaign. You're going to get these strike options for these Strike Force levels when you're taking on your campaign. You'll have a choice of these levels. These are the proxy wars that are occurring in the year 2025. You and your Black Ops team, you'll have a choice of which one of these levels you want to go on. In this case, we've chosen Singapore. We're going into Singapore with this Black Ops level. Now, the thing about Strike Force levels is they are entirely new game design. Right now, what you've seen him just do, the player just do here, is he's gone into Overwatch mode. He's looking at it from a strategic vantage point, and he's setting up his markers here. He wants his squad to go here. He can see in red there, you can see the enemy, and you can see what's going on. He needs to secure these 3 positions. So he's getting a lay of the land, he's going to set it up, and then at will, he can move into and play any one of these.
Choice, right? So it's like you can play this level the way you want to play.
It's a sandbox level. You can take over the objectives in whatever way you want, in any order that you want.
And
you can play.
You can lose.
And you can lose.
Right?
And you can lose. So so obviously in a Call of Duty game, you know, you need to win, right? Not anymore. In this case with Strike Force levels, if you lose, we'll take account of that in the story, and the story will progress. Now, of course, if you want to go back and play, which I know you're a completionist and you'll probably want to go and do that,
all
of course.
achievements.
But the story will progress forward, and it'll take note of how you performed in these levels, and the story will progress. So one of the things about these levels is you can play any one of the people on your Black Ops squad, and you can take over any of the machinery and the equipment on the battlefield that you go in with. So in this case, what will happen is you'll start to bring in reinforcements. He's obviously trying to take this position here, and his team is battling. He's going into Overwatch mode here. He's about to get some new units that are dropped in that he can take over and play with.
Wow. Now these Strike Force missions, are they optional? Do you have to play them? How does it work?
Yeah, so you will have to play them. However, you will have a choice about which one of these you want to play. And like I said, they will progress based on whether you succeed or fail. Some of them you may not experience, depending upon how you perform.
And these are a certain kind of throughout the campaign, you'll have different Strike Force moments or missions that connect to the story.
You got it. That's exactly it. And so it's unique in both structure, but also in gameplay. And right here, he's taken over. He's taken over one of the drones here, and he can either fire the rockets or he can fire his other heavy caliber weapons. He's rolling right now. This is a very powerful weapon. Clearly, he's driving, right? It's a different game mechanic altogether, so you're both driving and you're fighting here. Right. The other side has some of their own drones as well. That's Cognitive Land Assault Weapon. That's a very heavy piece of machinery. You have access to that on your side as well in this particular level. So
it's amazing that you guys have all these levels that you've sort of inserted throughout the campaign. Now, this one is obviously set in Singapore, and you're going to have them kind of all around the world?
They will be so without giving up the entire fiction, but there's going to be various areas, geographic locations in the world where these hotspots are occurring in this, like I said, in this year 2025.
Right.
And the head of JSOC is going to come to you and he's going to lay it all out. And he's going to say, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. Where do you want to go?
Make a choice.
Make a choice. You'll make a choice, and then the fiction will progress, and it'll take account of your choice.
Interesting. All right, so we'll branch a couple times, and you'll get to see. You can really play through this game multiple times. There's a lot of replayability here because of the Strike Force missions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So replayability, not only with the levels, but inside the levels. So right now, the way he's playing this, he's now taken over a quad. He's choosing to play this level in a particular way. So he's flying through this level with the quad, which is just a lot of fun. You can see that he's...
So this quad gameplay, is that gameplay that we'll see in the single-player campaign as well, or are you reserving that for Strike Force?
So there is quad gameplay in the campaign. What we've showed you is actually it being used as squad backup.
Right, okay.
So different mechanic altogether. There's a quad right there. Right now you're flying it and you're fighting it. In the campaign in Los Angeles that we showed you guys yesterday, that's squad backup for you. So it's a different gameplay mechanic. So we're able to use the new technology of warfare in the year 2025 in completely different ways, depending upon the context here.
All right, Marco, I think we're going to have to leave it there. That is Strike Force, though. You got so much coming for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Strike Force. We saw a campaign yesterday, multiplayer this summer as well, right?
Absolutely, and don't forget zombies, Jeff.
That's right, the zombies are coming. All right, well, our clips are empty, so we'll take a moment to reload, but Spike's E3 All Access Live continues in just a moment. Thanks, Mark. Hey guys, welcome back to Spike's E3 2012 All Access Live. Now, a few moments ago, we had a demo of the new Bellator MMA game, and here's a pic of Michael Chandler playing with Mercedes on the Samsung Galaxy Note. A great little demo of that game. Now, we've got more game exclusives coming your way, but first, get ready to welcome one of the major players of this console generation, EA's Peter Moore. Peter Moore, the Chief Operating Officer of EA and former Corporate Vice President of Microsoft's interactive entertainment business, has left an indelible mark on the gaming industry, and sometimes it returns the favor.
So what I'd like to show you is my new addition.
Peter's unstoppable enthusiasm has become a hallmark of his career, and his willingness to tell it like it is has made him one of the industry's most respected names. And he's the type of man who doesn't hold back any punches. Watch the then president of EA Sports psych me out before a seemingly friendly game of Facebreaker back in 2008.
I'm going to beat the crap out of you is what I'm going to do.
All right.
Something I've always wanted to do with a journalist.
So now that Peter's on our turf, what will he say about the future of EA? And can we convince him to get a Crysis 3 tattoo? Let's find out. On Saturday. All right, it's always a pleasure to welcome Peter Moore to our stage. Peter, congrats on a great press conference yesterday. Some big news with this UFC deal, which is interesting because you were tussling with Dana White for a number of years.
I don't think I could tussle with Dana, no, but it's exciting. We're delighted to be able to announce the relationship with UFC. It's been a great number of years for us being involved in mixed martial arts, but we always wanted that authentic license that is UFC, the fighters, the locations, and Dana, the character himself. And I was really excited to spend some time with him and the team yesterday. It was a great announcement for us.
Yeah, that's all yours now. Let's talk about kind of EA's portfolio, what you guys showed off yesterday, as John Riccitiello said, 10 great games, focusing on those games. EA's strategy is definitely fewer, bigger games now?
Yeah, when I joined EA, as you remember when I left Xbox, we had 67 core games in development or ready to ship at that time. We're down to 14.
Right.
And obviously we've added 41 social mobile free-to-play games, but 14 core games. You saw 10 of the 14 there on the stage yesterday. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing both with our core internal studios and then working with external developers as well. Very excited. Core Brands is part of who we are.
Now, one thing I thought was interesting was last year at the Nintendo briefing, John Riccitiello was on stage talking about EA's tremendous support of Wii U. This year, we saw Warner Brothers, we saw Ubisoft. Didn't see anything from EA. There was a little piece of Mass Effect footage. What happened there?
No, we're still there with Mass Effect. Infiltrator will be part of, I believe, the launch portfolio. And EA Sports is working on Wii U games. The timing for sports and a launch is, as you imagine, Madden ships in August.
Right. Tough when the
probably early.
Yeah.
But we made a commitment with EA Sports. The sports teams are working on Wii U games and stand by for some announcements there. But Mass Effect, as you saw, is definitely ready for launch.
Are you bullish on Wii U? I mean, are we going to see Medal of Honor on Wii U, Need for Speed, all those
we're bullish on Wii U. I mean, we love this idea of second glass. We saw it yesterday from Microsoft with their smart glass strategy, and I think that's a great strategy. And when we saw what Nintendo had to offer this morning, the idea, as we all do now, of having a secondary control device in your lap when you're playing, or even when you're just watching TV now. I mean, I can't watch without interacting with somebody either on my iPad, on my phone, or my PC all the time. And so I think Nintendo gets that. Look, they have incredible brands, as you know, Jeff, and nobody ever counts them out, ever.
Don't count out Miyamoto.
Never.
Right? Definitely not.
Never.
Now let's talk a little bit about sort of EA's strategy going forward. You guys have been very public saying that you're becoming more and more of a digital company.
Yeah.
We're seeing Nintendo, I think, has talked about Wii U games will be downloadable on day one.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see a day in the very near future where you can get all your content digitally if that's what people want?
It's funny, every time I come back to E3, I remember my early years with the Dreamcast and dragging you back when you were 12 years of age. But I coined a phrase then that the Dreamcast was taking gamers where gaming is going, and that was 1999, right there somewhere. And we're now at that point where just about everything can be digital. I think ultimately everything will be digital. Online play is, every game we do at EA now has online, whether it's player versus player or massively multiplayer. The entire industry needs to evolve. It doesn't mean retail is no longer a part of this, but everything we can do. We look at what happened with music, who kind of fought this and didn't get their business models right, sued their consumer instead of embracing their consumer. We listen to the consumer a lot. We're building our own platforms as a company. We're building IP and brands that actually play well with digital. This industry is going to direct download. You can buy a card at retail to be able to facilitate that, but we're going to direct download. The next generation will prove that out.
You think they'll still have discs in the next generation?
I think so. I think a lot of people still like a disc. I think people like to own physical media. We as a company still ship tens of millions of discs, but the disc alone is also the platform for digital. FIFA Ultimate Team for us, we rely upon that disc being the basis, the platform to be able to deliver digital on top of that. So we're different than music in that respect. But over the 13, 14 years I've been in this industry, I've seen us move from offline to online, and now we're, it's games as a service. It truly is. We owe it to the gamer to be there 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that is the biggest difference in the, as I say,
you're always there for us.
You've got, I always was, Jeff, and always will be.
And I like the shirt choice. Memories of South Park, right?
Yes, sir. So if anybody remembers that, here's a little deal. If anybody remembers what this shirt is all about, Twitter follower use. First one, I will FedEx the Medal of Honor Warfighter to their home with a note from me. First one.
An early copy?
Day of launch, it will arrive on their doorstep. First tweet to Jeff, because you have a lot of followers, of what this shirt is all about.
Okay, Peter, we'll wait for it. And what platform is it coming on?
What platform will it come from? Well, it will be the platform of their choice.
All right, Peter, always a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you, Peter. Let's take a look at what E3 means to the producers and designers who make the trip to LA every year.
One of my most memorable experiences at E3 would have to be meeting Gary Coleman at one of the booths. That was pretty awesome.
When we introduced the last Mortal Kombat in the theater that we had, the reaction that we got was clearly, for me personally, the biggest moment.
Wow, it's a good question. I think probably the press conference when they announced the Xbox 360.
For me, actually, like the first time when they showed GTA 3.
And I remember walking up to it, playing it, and thinking, that's going to be really good.
When I saw Metal Gear Solid 2 for the first time, when I saw Half-Life 2 for the first time.
I think my favorite E3 moment, it has to be when we showed Gears multiplayer for the first time in the back room.
I got to meet David Arquette. He was really cool. Got a picture with him. Looks like we're best friends, even though he has no idea who I am.
Didn't somebody cry when the new Zelda, or the crowd cried, like as a whole, when the new Zelda was announced? My favorite E3 moment came last year when I was lucky enough to be part of Crickeoke. You're familiar with the game of cricket and you're familiar with karaoke. Well, if you put the two together, you have Crickeoke.
I remember geeking out when I seen the Ringo and Paul McCartney on stage.
We went from the Poorhouse to going to the Sony party, and the Foo Fighters were playing with fireworks and everything, so it was like, oh my God, from rags to riches.
It's kind of running all around to a Kinko's to find the right place to file my one story before I could go to Dodger Stadium and see, it was like midget wrestling and fighting and robots fighting in cages.
E3 moment. I think the first E3, walking in the door for the first time, to be honest, it is just incredibly overwhelming.
All right, we're just moments away from signing off on Spike TV, but our coverage does not even come close to ending, Amanda.
No, not even close. Get ready to head over to allaccess.spike.com for our online show, which continues to look back at E3's biggest newsmakers.
This year marks the 10th anniversary of Spike's Video Game Awards, and a show this big needs a huge host. Samuel L. Jackson will be returning to host this year's event, which happens live on Friday, December 7th. Make sure not to miss it. Now, Daniel and Justine are at the board with a look at the 10 to watch for the VGAs. Guys, what do you got?
Thanks, Jeff. The VGA 10 to watch is determined by you guys, and we've been monitoring the social media buzz, and we're using that data to populate the last of the games that will be making a strong push for the Game of the Year this year and beyond.
What do you guys think of this list here? Are the fans getting things right? I mean, obviously you could see Watch Dogs at the top, generating the most buzz, the Ubisoft game, unannounced title, Star Wars 1313, moving down to titles like Beyond Two Souls, 3 brand new projects at the top, and then some new IPs. Those are the only new IPs, well, The Last of Us as well. So we have a lot of sequels. What do you think of this list, guys? Is it pretty accurate in terms of buzz? Are we missing anything or what?
I think we might be missing Zombie U.
Zombie U, yeah.
Zombie U got a lot of attention. What do you think, Peter? Was there anything that you were excited?
Well, I loved Zombie U. I loved the idea of you taking over the person that you played before and becoming a zombie and killing yourself. I thought it was a fantastic
Peter
idea.
Molyneux approved idea, right?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Sounds lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, I think those are all good. I mean, yeah, Star Wars 1313 got a lot of buzz. Watch Dogs. I feel those are the two, that, at least so far, people are talking about as kind of games that feel next generation.
Definitely.
And, you know, they're running on high-end PCs, so they're not running on PlayStations or Xboxes. But I always thought there'd be a few companies that would do that. And by VGA time, our hope is we're going to actually show off a lot of these next-gen games for the first time to give people a real glimpse of what, you know, the next generation of gaming is going to look like.
And actually, Watch Dogs shows you that connected gameplay they hinted at the end. The idea that I can be playing a completely different role to you, that was really, truly exciting.
Yeah, it was a tease, and I asked Steve about that. He wouldn't tell us anything. But yeah, there's a lot going on there. All right, well, that's it for us on air, but head on over to allaccess.spike.com as our 17 hours of live E3 coverage continues. Activision CEO Eric Hirshberg will be joining us live in the studio. Thanks, everybody, and Skyrim DLC. Allaccess.spike.com.